Welcome back to Gold Seek TV, where we're talking about silver and gold today with Prince Silver Corporation's CEO, Derek Iwanaka. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me back on again, Peter.
I thought it'd be a good time to catch up. You had news out this week from your Prince Silver project in Nevada with some very interesting results. So if we could first kick off and talk about more drill results coming back from this year's drill program. So what kind of results are we seeing from the latest RC drill results?
Yes, this is the third batch of results. So we've now put out about 20 holes. Out of those 20 holes now, we've hit 15 holes. But out of that, there were two holes that were actually lost. So it's not because they didn't actually hit any intersections. They actually just didn't reach the target depth and the holes were lost. So actually, if you look at it, we probably got like an 83% hit rate with the drilling so far. And this week was the headline result was 27 meters over grading 93.7 grams per ton silver. It also had 12% manganese, 2.3% zinc, and almost 2.5%, 2.3% lead and almost 2.5% zinc. So I mean, that's a good broad interval. That's exactly the kind of the results that we would like to see from a large bulk tonnage, lower, albeit lower grade type of deposit. And that's exactly what it's shaping up to be.
So this continues to provide results from this program, which the goal, I believe, this year is to kind of prove up a historical resource estimate, not done by the company, but you would like to uh, prove up these past results. So what kind of goal, what kind of milestones would you like to see from this program?
Yeah, consistency. I think that's the main thing. Because it's going to be a large, and this is a relatively flat lying manto, so one of these kind of beds that you would have that's kind of horizontal. You wanted to see consistency because it's going to be progressively stretching out, and we've been basically going to the east, the north, the west, and the south. It's open at all ends and still down at depth as well. So that's been then, I mean, very encouraging to see. But yeah, like I said, I mean, we're hitting 83% of the holes, so only very few of the holes actually end up missing. And I'll knock on wood right now before I curse that.
And some of the drill results are not just showing high numbers of just silver and other base metals, but you're also intersecting gold. And that sounds to be something that wasn't quite expected. So how is gold coming into the system? What's that? What's happening there?
Yeah, in particular, in the latest results, PRC 45 and 46 both intersected gold here in meaningful amounts. In the case of, I would have to say that we originally knew there was going to be some gold in the system. I don't think we originally anticipated it was going to be this prevalent, though. So gold is definitely becoming more of an important factor in the system here, especially obviously with today's gold prices. So that's been kind of a pleasant kicker for the drill results so far this year.
So you have quite a interesting deposit there. You have gold, silver, base metals. What is a little more of the kind of overview of what kind of deposit this is and some history of maybe some past production has occurred there and a little more of a I've seen some nice photos from the project, so maybe I could kind of describe what's going on there.
Yeah, it was a past producing mine. It operated from 1911 to 1949, and it basically shut down because of low metal prices. And at the time, silver was 73 cents an ounce, so pretty cheap back then. And it just was mostly chasing either fissure veins or some flat-lying mantos, albeit more shallow. And so it wasn't really tested kind of below 250 meters. It was basically mined down to about 250 meters, but it wasn't until 2012 where a geologist named Harrison Madsen, who is with our team, decided it looks like there's some promise down at depth. And he started drilling in 2012 below 250 meters and ended up hitting into two different horizons, one being the CM bed and the second one, which is called the PO shale. These are different horizons in the stratigraphy. And yeah, it's been nice to see the gold coming out. We still, it is still polymetallic CRD. And so it does have your zinc, your lead, manganese as well, in addition to the gold and silver, which really seem to be the economic drivers right now.
And the program taking place right now has multiple drill rigs on it. It looks like you're doing about 9,000 meters. Is that correct on the RC drilling? What kind of yeah, a little more details on the program and time estimates on when you should complete this phase.
Yeah, we started off with one drill rig and we moved it up to two rigs because, and this is kind of a new thing for me with RC drilling is in our case anyways, the drill rigs operators only operate one shift a day, and you're probably familiar with a lot of Canadian companies where they're drilling 24 hours around the clock. So this is not the case here. So we brought on a second rig to help accelerate things, and we want to increase that even further. So we actually just brought on a third drill rig now, and these are all three are RC drill rigs to help speed up the process. And then because we also got to get some core samples, we are looking at getting a diamond drill. And unfortunately, it's a little bit tough in terms of competition in Nevada right now, but I think we should be able to get our hands on at least one core rig. So potentially we could have four drill rigs turning on site, or at least three rigs turning on site at some point later this year.
And will the core drilling go deeper to test the system at depth?
Probably not really deeper. More so, I think it's going to be used to confirm the geological tilts of any of these. The problem with RC drilling is you just get chip samples coming out, so you can't see any orientation of
Hmm.
of the where the actual veins or mantos are going. So it will be important to put a few holes kind of around the deposit, not specifically in one place. We probably will do a bit more drilling towards the north because it seems to be we're getting a more of a deeper and higher grade pocket or zone. So we will do some diamond drilling up there as soon as we can get our hands on a rig. So it'll be a kind of a combination of a bit of twin holing and testing out the orientation of the deposit throughout the property.
So the goal of this program is to test old drill results and try to understand the system better, confirm what their resource estimate was kind of internally done, was it? Or can you give us a little more of an idea what kind of milestone and what are you looking for from this program? You did mention consistency, but a little more of an idea what maybe the bigger ounces or silver equivalent ounces might look like.
Yeah, there was an expiration target that was undertaken by the previous operators of the property, and they came out with an expiration target. So this is what it's a JORC or Australian compliant type of target. So it's contemplated between 23 million tons to 45 million tons of ore. I think it was grading around under 30 grams per ton silver, but it also had a bunch of manganese, lead, and a little bit of gold. Now that the drilling is ongoing and we've had nearly 20 holes or results come back, we're growing more confident that we are going to be able to exceed that resource target. It would be my guess right now based on the drilling so far. Obviously, I can't guarantee that, but at some point this year, we do want to get a resource estimate completed, and that's probably going to be in the fourth quarter. I think we want to get as much drilling as included as possible since we are hitting so much and so frequently. The goal would be to get as much data into that resource estimate, which means we really got to push the drilling as fast as possible so we can squeeze as much data into that calculation.
Well, you're quite a you've only been around maybe a year, not even so far. The
Not
company's
even, yeah.
quite new, so you're being
Yeah,
quite aggressive
the
forward
the
here.
acquisition was made for the properties in July, so not July of last year. So it's not even a year. So we're I guess at 10 months or so.
Hmm.
So we're not even there yet, and yeah, 9,000 meters right now. We're financed to do a second program later this year, so we still have plenty of cash in the coffers, so we're ready to do a second phase, but we have to see all the results from this first phase so we can determine exactly where we're going to drill for the next phase.
Excellent. So you've got already a first drill program phase well underway. You're looking at doing your first resource estimate, 43101. A second phase drill program financed. That sounds like, yeah, things are moving aggressively. And you mentioned something also there that's kind of, it sounds like maybe the kicker is the critical metal side, the manganese. And I've noticed some companies starting to get funding from the government and so on. So if you could share a little more on that part of the deposit and what that means for the company potentially.
Yeah, so there is a very large component of manganese, probably around 10% or so, at least historically speaking, and based on the drilling that we were doing, kind of confirms that 10% manganese number. So there's a pretty significant amount of manganese in that. How does that fit into the picture? Well, a couple things. Because it is in the critical minerals list and it is one of the more rare critical minerals on that list, I would say that manganese is quite important, and so that could potentially help us with either government funding or potentially fast tracking for the permitting. So it can be an important factor with the mix of metals we have here, but I would have to say that the silver and the gold might are very likely to be the key economic drivers here.
Okay. Well, we have the latest results already out, so I expect there's more results will be coming out in the coming weeks, months, and then we will look forward to how those results look, a resource estimate, and more with the next phase of drilling. So it sounds like it's next by the end of the year, there's quite a bit of activity and a lot of things coming up for the company.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of drilling. We'll have that resource estimate come out. I'm going to cross my fingers. Hopefully, we even get some metallurgical results. So we did embark on some metallurgy test work, and that's because sometimes manganese and silver can be a challenge. So we're trying to be ahead of that, and we're using the same lab as Aftermath Silver did. And as you probably know, they figured out how the recoveries for the silver and manganese there. So I think we're going to do it. I hope it can be done quickly. If it can't be on the metallurgy side, that's fine because we're going to make this, I think, into a very large bulk tonnage type scenario, which if you saw the latest results, some of the mineralization was starting from 14 meters at depth. So, I mean, that's pretty easy, open pitable type of material. So that would be great to get started at least once it does eventually become a mine.
Well, exciting. We have the silver price, which continues to trade well above $50 an ounce. It's in excellent price territory for a deposit like this. So things are really coming together right now. We'll definitely be watching the drill results come out, and we'll have to follow up and see how those all look. And then, of course, with the resource estimate, and then the next steps coming up. So, Derek, I really appreciate your time today and giving us insights. So we'll definitely talk here in the near term.
Peter, thank you so much, and best of luck with your new baby coming up.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks. Talk to you soon.
Cheers.
Cheers.